Kate tells her fascinating story about being a single mother at 17 to becoming a self-made millionaire. Beauty salons, the heritage market, Hollywood films, property development, and now hospitality. There's not much Kate hasn't been involved with. I've waited 8 years to have this discussion with her, and I can't wait to share it with you. This is Kate Stewart. Okay, Kate, so you are a Liverpool business legend. So thank you so much for doing this podcast with me. I appreciate it so much.
You're welcome.
So as I was saying before, I read about you 8 years ago when I was starting off my career, and you were definitely an inspiration, and I wanted to meet you so much.
Stop flattering me, Andrew.
So I feel like I've manifested this many years ago, so I'm really excited. But for those who don't know you or don't know you that well and want to get to know you more, can we have your business story right from the beginning in absolute detail?
God, have you got all day?
I have got all year for you.
Okay, so I was at school and I was a bright student. I really was. But I just didn't respond to the format that they taught me in, and I just got really bored. So I decided to sag off. But I didn't sag in the conventional way that people think that you'd sag off. I used to go to Chester and go on open-top bus tours of history, or I'd go to the museum, the Maritime Museum and things like that, because I love history. So it was things that interested me. I'd really focus on. So I left school anyway with absolutely no qualifications, nothing. And I went and got a job in Facebook, but I've always worked. I worked from when I was 13. So if we go back right to the beginning of time, I worked from when I was 13. I worked on a burger van on Matthew Street from 8 o'clock in the night till 4 o'clock in the morning. And then I'd go home, get washed, get a shower, because I used to stink of onions. And then I'd go to school. So I've always had a really good work ethic in me, because when we were growing up we didn't have much, and I always wanted more. I always loved clothes and things like that, and my grandparents could never afford them. So I used to think, well, all right, then I'll go out and work for myself and get it myself. So I left school and I had a job in First Sport on Church Street. That's not even there anymore. I'm showing my age, aren't I? And I worked there for about a year, and then even at 16, they used to like send me to Rill and to other places to set up new shops and everything else. So I think maybe they seen something in me and thought, she's got ability. I was a chambermaid in the Adelphi.
Oh, wow.
I got sacked after 2 days. So I have always wanted to make money. And then I met, same old stupid story that most girls have. I met a lad when I was about 16, and I got pregnant and had a little girl at 17. So I think everybody thought the writing's on the wall for her. She's not going to achieve anything. She's going to be a single mum. She's going to claim benefits, and she's going to go on to have another 10 kids. And I think even some of my own family thought that was going to happen to me. And I thought, and I'm one of them people as well, I'm really stubborn. So I thought, you know what, I'm going to prove every one of you's wrong. And having no qualifications and everything else, and no CV, it was really hard for me to get a job. So I went and trained as a beautician, and I was doing beauty work. I had in a room and doing beauty, and I saved every penny that I could. And then I found a shop. I opened a sunbed salon and rented all the sunbeds in. And at the time, there wasn't all this emphasis on the skin cancer and everything else. We didn't really have much education on how bad they was for you. And they were just booming. It was like a 5-hour wait sometimes for a sunbed. I had like 8 sunbeds in there. So I made a lot of money out of that. So going back in Liverpool, I hope there's some people my age who listen to your podcast, Andrew. It sounds like I'm talking like a nan, but you could buy a house for like £6,000.
Yeah.
So I was going to auctions and buying houses, doing them up, selling them
At the same
up.
time as the beauty salon.
And I had my daughter on my own as well, because me and her dad had split up. He wasn't very nice. So I was working all the time, and then I heard someone was coming down from London and taking over the heritage market in Stanley Dock. And I went there, and I asked him, I said, can I have a job? No. I was like, why? He was like, F off and get out my office. I was like, okay. So I went back the next day. I was like, can I have a job now? He was like, no, I've told you, go away. And I went back every day, and I'd done it for 7 days. And in the end, he went, oh, for F's sake, get in the office. You can be a secretary. And I started as a secretary. So while I was there, I went back to uni. I went into college and done an access course. And I went to Edgehill University and I done my degree in business and management. And I got a 2-1. And it was really hard as well because being a single mum and working full time and doing my degree overnight, I was watching all my friends going out and partying, and I didn't have time to do anything. I had to like sit and I had books all around me. I was like, oh God, my life is over. But I mean, doing that gave me a great insight into business, and I ended up owning the heritage market.
Would you say your degree or your work experience, which gave you the most knowledge, or was it
your work experience? I mean, it's always good to have on paper that you have got qualifications, and I'm by no way putting people off education because it is vital. It's for all of us. But mine has always been experience and your little black book, what contacts you've got. That is so important, is to get out there and network, to get out and meet people, get out and get your name out there as well, and build yourself, you know, a reputation that you are, what you can do, and show people what you are and what you're about. So it's down at the heritage. And at the time when I inherited it, we had a terrible problem with counterfeit, really, really bad. And my predecessor had just let this go on and he was taking money off them. And Liverpool 1 was being built at the time. And all of the designers were saying, we're not coming to Liverpool because of the amount of counterfeit goods that you have there. So they gave a lot of money to Liverpool City Council to clamp down on it. So they were like coming into the heritage and raiding it, taking away lorryfuls and everything else. And Liverpool City Council had come with the police and said, if you don't stop this, we're going to shut it down. Now, while a small minority of them sold counterfeit, a lot of people depended on, there was another 400 people who depended on that as the normal living. And I remember, and I was only young, I was about 25, and I had to go out and stand on the gate and stop them coming in. And they were like, effing come round and burn your house down, and the threats I got. I was like, well, if you were going to do it, you wouldn't be telling me, would you? And I had to stand on the gate and not let them in. And I think by doing that, I gained a lot of respect, because in that industry as well, it's male dominated. So they're all males and everything else. And they thought, oh, okay then, she's not some little girl. And I remember one day the roof was leaking on one of the buildings, and the lads were up there and they were making a bit of a balls up of it, to tell you the truth. So I got up there and got this big fire thing, and I ended up doing the roof with the lads and everything else, big worky boots on, a hat on and everything else. I was like, come on, get in the bitumen. I was doing it all. So I think by doing things like that in a male-dominated industry, you do gain respect, because I'm not scared to get my hands dirty. And I'd never tell a member of staff to do something that I wasn't prepared to do myself. I am quite hands-on. So during my time as well, I haven't just worked in Liverpool. I actually went down, the gentleman who I work for, who I ended up getting a job off, he owned Camden Market too. So he put me down in London. And I was running all the financial side over there at Camden. And that taught me a lot as well, because it's so different from Liverpool as well. And we are, I'd say, about 15 years behind London. So you see things down there that are just starting to be created in Liverpool now. So it taught me a lot being down there. But because of my daughter, I came back to Liverpool, because I was working down there Monday to Friday, and the weekends I was coming over for me baby. But being a single mum, that just didn't work out for me too well, because I never wanted my daughter to feel abandoned, or that her mum had left her. But so I went down there for about 6 months and was doing that, and then I come back to Liverpool. But I've had a colourful career. So now I went on to get married, and I've got 3 small babies. I've got 3 children under 3.
Wow.
And I moved completely out of that sector because the heritage market was being redeveloped. And the mayor had come to me and said, look, Kate, if you hold on to your lease on this, you know, you're going to stop a lot of investment coming into the city. So I surrendered the lease and I moved on to different things. But I've always kept my finger into property. I own quite a bit of property, commercial properties as well. And I own the Sandon complex, which is based next to Liverpool football ground. And that's really, oh my God, you should see match days. I mean, we have like 5,000 people in through the doors on match days. And we have a contract with LFC as well to deliver all their hospitality for 440 guests every home game. And I'm just doing 130 beds hotel there as well. Sometimes I have that much going on, I forget. I'm like, what am I doing today? That's when my PA has to keep my diary pretty tight.
Do you not know how you do it all?
It's hard balancing it, but, you know, I look at my children and I struggled, Andrew. I really did struggle. I had to really fight for everything that I had, and everything that I've ever done, I've had to fight for. And want my children to have a different experience and a different life. Like my eldest daughter, she's 19, she's been in private school since she was 4.
Yeah.
And she's just gone to college and done all her A-levels, and now she's gone to Edge Hill University.
Oh, wow. She
started yesterday and she's doing a degree in media. So I think by being able to give my children a better life is my total inspiration, and that's my whole goal in life, is to give my children a better life and to let them experience everything and not have the worry and the stress of it. You know, I'll make sure they've got a good work ethic, and I'm not going to be one of them mums who's like, oh, well, here you go, you can have everything.
Yeah.
They will. My daughter she works at the Sandon behind the bar, and I'd let her have that for pocket money or whatever, but I make sure that she understands the value of money and that you have to go out to work, and mummy's not always going to be here to, you know, provide. She has to provide for herself too.
What do you think makes you different? Because everyone, I mean, most people want to provide a lot for the kids and make sure they've got a really good foundation to achieve what they want to achieve, but you're an outlier. You're achieving a lot more than most people. What is it that's different about you, would you say?
I think because I had a bit of a hard up childhood as well. I was a baby myself and had a baby.
Yeah.
And I think because of my stubbornness as well, and to show people, you know, you're not writing me off, and I am going to do well, and I am going to succeed. That's been a big driving force behind me, because coming from an area that I was from a normal council estate, and no one really had much. So I think that's always been like a burning desire in me to, like, you know, I will prove everybody wrong. I will make sure I do this.
Yeah.
And even now where people go, you know, I've got 3, and I've just got divorced. I'm great at business. I'm not great at relationships. That's like my downfall. And I have got the 4 children on my own, and everyone goes, I don't know how you do it. And even down to, like, I had the twins, and the twins were 12 months old, and I had a new baby as well. And I had my oldest daughter, and I still worked full time.
Wow.
So it was and now I look back and think, God, Kate, how the hell did you do it? But you just do. You just get up every day, and I'm one of them people as well. I don't know what today will hold.
Yeah.
A new opportunity could come my way, or something could happen. I just don't know what's going to happen. I don't know where I'll be next week or next month. Or,
wow.
Yeah. And I
Very
like
busy
that,
life. So has your life always been busy then, since the beginning of your journey?
Yeah, it's always hectic, but I love chaos.
Yeah.
I think I attract it. I think that's what makes me. Do you know, if I was one of those people who sat in an office 9 to 5 and was just like, that was my job, I just couldn't do it. I'd be climbing the walls after about an hour. I love being out there. I love doing different things. I love maybe that I'm in Liverpool today, I could be in London tomorrow, I could be in Manchester the next day. I just get a piece of paper put in front of me now. It's like, Kate, you're there. I'm like, oh God. But it's just about time management as well.
Yeah.
I mean, a routine is key in my life. I have to have routine with my children. So I do everything by a clock, really. So I go, okay, I've got 20 minutes to do this. I've got half an hour to do that. And if I go into a meeting as well, the first thing I'll say is, look, I've got an hour.
Yeah.
And then we have to do that within an hour.
Yeah.
Because if not, it just knocks me whole day out.
Yeah.
And the time is the most precious commodity in the universe. That's the only thing that we can't buy. So I value time.
Wow. I just want to chunk down into a little bit of details, get a bit of your business tactics, if that's okay.
Of course.
So when you were starting your salons and you were growing them, what did you have a strategy? Were you learning along the way? Did you have a mentor? What was your process for growth?
I just learned along the way.
Yeah.
Do you know what? Even now, at this point, I don't really have strategies. I don't. I see something, and I'll go, do you know what? I'll make that work. By hook or by crook, I will make that work. So, like, I've just bought a building now, and I haven't even seen it. I was actually in Dubai, and I haven't actually been into the property. I've seen it online, and I rang up and bought it. I'm going to have to actually go and see that. But it's just about, if you believe, this is the biggest thing, that advice I can give to anyone, is self-belief. I believe in myself, and I've got to the age now as well where I'm really comfortable in my own skin. I don't have to prove anything to anyone anymore. All I have to do is prove to myself. And I think I do believe in myself, and I think, yeah, I can make that work. Yeah, I can do that. Because I've got that track record under my belt as well now, where something can be in dire straits and be really bad. And I think, yeah, well, when I bought the Sandon, it was like that. It was really in a pickle. But I went in and I've sorted that out, and I've just doubled the value on it.
So where does that self-belief come from?
I think you've got to love yourself. You've got to learn to love yourself. and I've always been a bit vain. But I think because of the odds have always been against me and everything else, and I have achieved, and I've done everything on my own as well. I've never had somebody come along and say to me, here's a grant. I've never had a penny in a grant. I've never had someone say to me, well, I'll invest in you. It's always been my own money.
Yeah.
Always. I haven't really worked with banks. It's only in the last 12 months that I've worked with banks. I've always used my own money and always self-financed. So sometimes you'd have to, I think, take a step back and look. If somebody was telling you the story about yourself to you, how would you feel by that?
Yeah.
So sometimes you have to sit back and think, look what I have achieved and look what I have done. And I don't know, I just like myself a lot.
No, well, it's working. Keep at it. I believe you were involved in some, was it charity work at the beginning of the year, was it? About helping homeless women with sanitary and hygiene. How did you get involved in that?
I always do things like charity work and trying to mentor younger people and girls who are like myself who have babies at a young age and they do want to do something. So I've always been trying to help other people. It's a big passion of mine. And I was walking through town and there was a girl on the street and she was just sitting on the floor and she was like, just had her hands up and that, and I took the time to actually stop and speak to her and say, and try and understand how, because we walk past people and we don't look at the backstory behind them. Why are they there? What has made them there? They don't want to be there. You don't wake up one day and go, I tell you what I'll do. I'll go and live on the street. I'll go and beg. Something major's happened. And she was telling me the struggles that she has and the problems that she has. And I went down to the Whitechapel and I was doing some work in there. And the women were saying, oh, you know, it's hard for us on the streets. And I was trying to get them to have a little bit of self-value and self-worth. So I've done some work down there, yeah.
Wow, wow. I just want to go back onto the Sandon a little bit. I want to know how you got involved with that. Like, how did that... You sound like someone that opportunities seem to appear in front. Are you creating them? Are you... First of all, actually, I'm going to go back a bit. How are you finding these opportunities? Are they coming towards you? Have you trained yourself to find opportunities?
Okay, so sometimes opportunities will just come up. Somebody will ring you up and say, look, Kate, this is for sale. Are you interested? Or... I don't just go into one field neither. It's not like I'm stuck in property or I just do that. I will do anything. So I think that's what being an entrepreneur is, you know, set into just one industry to say, you know, that I just do computers or whatever. I don't do that. So people will ring me up or I'll see something online or something in the newspaper, or maybe Liverpool City Council may be having some problems with things and they'll contact me. And I don't take all the offers up because some of them are just not for me. But the Sandon was up for sale. It had been running to the ground. It had no investment into it. And I thought, you know what? I can make that work. And also regeneration area is always great to get into. If people are putting money in and the city are putting money in, then the money will follow.
Okay.
So I invested about 2 million into that. And I'm just making further investments into it to do the hotel. And if you put enough hours into something and you make sure that you've got the right team around you, then you can make anything succeed, anything at all. And it is key to have the right staff. If I was a joiner and I had tools and the chisel was blunt, I'd throw the chisel away, wouldn't I? And get a new one. So all of my staff have to be sharp. Yeah. All of them have to be on the ball. And if they're not doing the jobs, then they do have to answer and explain to me why they're not doing their jobs. And sometimes it's hard in business because sometimes you do have to make people redundant. And it's not nice having to do that to anybody. But if I gave people ample opportunity to prove me wrong and to say, no, I can do my job, then I'm giving my children's money away for nothing. Yeah. So it does come to the point where they just go, right, that's it, no more.
Do you find it hard finding the right staff?
Yes, very, very.
I think it's one of the hardest things to get.
Because you're putting all your trust and your dependency onto somebody else to run your businesses for you, that you worked hard for to acquire anyway. And don't get me wrong, I don't think anyone has ever been 100% what you are. Yeah. But if I worked like 80, if I get 80, I'm all right.
So the Sandon, was that, the decision process behind that, was it sounds like it was a quick one, or did you kind of go over the financials? Did you go over, how did you go, what was the thought process?
Okay, so I have a team as well around me. I have a financial advisor, I have a business manager, So all the paperwork, and my solicitors are great as well. So all the paperwork came over, and I gave it to my accountant to look through that. And do you know what? I always go with the feel of things as well. If I go in somewhere and don't like it, then I go, no. It doesn't matter if it was turned over 10 million, but if I didn't like it and it doesn't feel right for me, then it's not going to be right for me. So it was a quick decision actually on the Sandon.
Okay.
Yeah, I think
it sounds like you're someone who just goes at something. If you've got a good feeling, you go for it. Would you say that's right?
And do you know what? I haven't been successful in everything. You know, sometimes I've lost on things. But
what's been your biggest failure, would you say?
I've bought businesses and I've had problems with the staff, and in the end I've had to sell it for a loss. That happens in life, but you don't let it get you down. Do you know what? I've lost today, I'll make back tomorrow.
Yeah.
And I have always got I never look back and think, what should have, would have, could have. That's just not the way to do it. Look forward, keep looking forward, and think about tomorrow, not about yesterday.
So it sounds like one of your biggest assets, or your biggest asset, is your mindset and how you think and how you just go about things, would you say?
Do you know what as well? I've been depressed. I've suffered with depression and everything else, yeah. And I do still take medication for that. I lost a baby, a little girl, in 2013, and I was really, really ill. I had really bad postnatal depression after it. And I was at the point where I couldn't get out of bed of a morning. Literally couldn't lift my head off the pillow because I was just like, my will to live had gone out of my body. And I went to the doctors and I got medication. And the first 4 lots of medication that they gave to me didn't suit my body. And then I finally found one of the antidepressants that suits me, and I still take it today.
Do you know, thank you so much for sharing that, because I think successful people often appear as bulletproof and unachievable or unattainable to be that type of person. And so thank you so much for sharing that, because I think a lot of people will connect with that, to be honest.
I mean, do you know what? Don't get me wrong, the daily struggle of life always gets to you. And probably now I could come off them tablets or come down on them, but you know what? I'm scared to, because I never want to go back to feeling like I did. And they're working for me and I feel great, and so why not? If I went and broke my leg, I'm going to go to the hospital only, and I'm going to get it fixed. Your brain is exactly the same. It can't cope, and sometimes it needs a little bit of help, so I'll get it help.
No, thank you. So I'm just so happy that you shared that, because I just think that's something that people will really, really be able to connect with you about, because often people like yourself seem really bulletproof and that nothing gets at them. So it's really good that you shared.
You know, there's been times as well where, listen, believe me, sometimes I'll go home and on my own I'll sob my heart out, and we all get down. We all have them days. Some days I think, oh God, I feel like putting my head against the wall. That is life in general. Business is the same. Your family life's the same. You still have emotions. You still have, you know, when I got divorced, it wasn't nice. It was, you know, it was really emotional, thinking, oh, why have I done this again? Yeah. Some days I'm very happy. Some days I'm not. Some days I'm angry.
Well, I just want to get to know a little bit about you as a person. So being female and coming from Liverpool, now my general impression of people that they love people from Liverpool in my experience. But there's still always going to be a stigma from some people about Liverpoolians. So being female and being a Scouser, what barriers have you faced?
Oh God, I'll tell you the story now. I had to go down to London, to Belgravia, which is like the most affluent area down there for business and everything else. And I had to do a presentation. It was the people who actually owned Stanley Dock. And I was taken over at the time. I think I was 26, 25, and I went down, and there was 5 of them, and one of them was you know, the fella who owns Topshop. He was sitting on the panel.
Oh wow.
And I went down, and
it's Phil Green, isn't it?
Yeah, Phil Green, yeah. And I went down, and I was like, okay, and I could see them looking at me. I really could, as if to say, oh God, what's this about? And it goes down, and at first they were just like, you know, not even looking at me, and I'd done a presentation to them, and by the end of it they were like sitting on the edge of the seats and they were like, yes, you can have it, you know, whatever you want. I was like, yes, crack it. Sorted that one out. But yeah, I mean, I'll never change. I don't see why you should. I can go in and sit with people, homeless people on the street, or 2 days ago I was upstairs having a meeting with the mayor. I can go into any situation. You've got to believe in yourself, and you've got to have self-confidence as well. Nobody's different. Everybody's exactly the same. Even the Queen's a human. You know, it's just where you're born, or you're born into different circumstances. So I never feel put off going into somewhere, and I never try and put an accent on or act posh or anything
People
like
see
that.
through, though. If you're not yourself,
Yeah.
people can see it.
And I'm proud to be from Liverpool, and I am what I am. If you don't want to do business with me, then don't.
Yeah.
No loss to me.
I love it. I'm really interested to get into the side of your brain. What do you think about most of the time?
What I've got to do. So it's constantly, okay, where have I got to be? Have I done this? Have I done that? Have I done this? And that's where Sean comes in a lot.
Yeah.
So Sean will remind me things. I work, if you look on my desk, it's just book after book after book. I have to write everything down. And I just have list after list after list. So I'll be worried about, not only do I have to worry about things like with business as well, I have to worry about my children. So are my kids all right? Have they got everything they need? And okay, where are we going to move? So one business might not have money, and one might be making money that month, so we've got to cross the monies over, and just general business. And but once a week I go and have a private, I do meditation once a week, and I love that. That's my escapism. And overnight I read.
So what type of stuff do you read?
I read history.
Okay.
So I'm fascinated by the Tudor era.
Oh, really?
Yeah. So I've read all about, what's so sad, isn't it? I've read all about like King Henry VIII, all of his wives, and then I've gone back again and read about his nan, his mum, his dad, and then gone back again and read the generation before. So I read things about history.
I'm surprised you get time to read, but so is that your downtime, would you say?
Yeah, so what I do is I'll put my children to bed at 8 o'clock, and then for 2 hours I'll do some paperwork and just catch up on my emails, and then around 10 till 11 p.m. I read. Yeah, and then, or if I can't sleep and my mind's playing overtime, I read, and then my eyes will get tired.
Yeah.
So rather than sit and start thinking in bed, because everybody must have this problem where you go to bed and ping, your mind's away. It's like, oh God, what am I going to do tomorrow? What am I going to do with this? What am I going to do with that? Because even though, I would still worry. Of course you do. You'd have them moments where you think, oh God, what have I done here? Oh God. And sometimes you want to flush your head down the toilet. But then the next day I'll get up and think, oh, do you know what, Kate, just go with it. Just get it done. Stop moaning about it. So that'll be me. Rather than lie awake thinking, I'll read.
Yeah. Fantastic. You must have loved being involved with the heritage markets then, with your passion for history, because it's just an iconic building. Well, isn't it the biggest brick building in the world? 27. Oh, is it your 27 million bricks? Is that right?
Yeah. And also as well, it was used as the in World War II. It was used as the Americans' base.
Oh, really?
And President Roosevelt's wife visited it, so I got all the pictures, and downstairs in the cellars was all the ledgers and everything else. And we used to do ghost hunts there, and I started using it as a film location as well. So I got Captain America to be made there, Sherlock Holmes to be made there.
Is there anything you don't do?
No. Yeah, relationships.
I mean, you've got obviously a huge skill set, and you have to have a wide variety of skills as an entrepreneur. But what are you world class at, would you say?
Shouting at people. Making money.
So when people think of success, they probably think of someone like yourself. But who would you, if I was to say success, who's the first person that comes to your mind, and why?
Do you know what? It's not business people. It was my grandmother.
Okay.
She had 6 kids, and then she brought all us up as well, and she was a nurse, and she got left with her brothers and sisters, and mum had died when she was a kid, and she still had time for everyone.
Yeah.
She's just the most kind and caring person. I never aspire to be anybody else. I don't look at people and think, I'd love to be you. That's just not what I'm about. I look at people who succeed. You can succeed in other ways. Sometimes it doesn't have to be financial. You can succeed in a lot of things, and sometimes you can succeed in life and don't have to be over the toply rich, but you can be rich in your family and everything else. So the emphasis is always put on, how much have you got on the bank. And when you're old and you're 80 and you're sitting in the chair, you're nearly dead, your money's not going to matter, is it? The memories that are going to float around your head are. So I love making memories as well. I always make sure I put time in my diary to make memories with my kids and my friends. Yeah. So I've just been away with my mates and a little party a few days. Well, I lie, actually, a party a few days. I got drunk on the first night and then didn't have another drink because I was so hungover. I can't drink. That just doesn't agree with me. And then I took my children away for a week then as well, because there's no point in working if you don't enjoy it. What are you going to do? Leave it to your kids? to blow. As long as they're financially okay, I want to still enjoy my life.
Yeah. So, everything you've achieved, how do you want to be remembered?
I know I'll be remembered as a bitch. I want, do you know what all I want in life is for my kids to look back and say, didn't my mum give us a good life? Wasn't my mum lovely? And for my kids to talk, like I still talk about my grandmother to my kids.
Yeah.
So I want to be remembered by my kids. I couldn't give a shit what anyone else thinks of me, to tell you the truth.
Amazing. Okay, I think that pretty much brings everything to a wrap. Is there anything you want to mention, anything you want to talk about? Or?
Do you know what? Anyone who listens to this, all I would say is, don't ever think that you can't achieve something. Don't ever let anyone tell you, no, you can't do that. Don't ever stop believing in yourself. If you've got the ability inside you to do everything. Every single human being on this planet is the same. We've all got brains, we've all got hearts, we've all got the same amount of fingers and toes and everything else. You can do anything that you want to do. If you put your mindset to it and you put enough time and energy and effort into it, you can do anything in the world. Your oyster.
Thank you so much. I appreciate your time.
You're welcome.
Thank you.